Susie sent me a beautiful marsh painting with a strong impressionistic feel and a wonderful palette knife texture. I noticed her good sense of color and the movement already happening in the scene. But marsh paintings can be really tricky because there's so much of the landscape that's repeated. You've got repeated grasses, repeated texture, and subtle shifts in light. So in this critique, we explore how rhythm, variation, and light can help organize those repeating elements into a painting that feels more alive and more unified. Hi, I'm Kathleen. I help artists build the skills and structure to paint with confidence. Let's listen in on my critique for Susie now. Hey Susie, thank you for sending in your marsh painting. Susie's painting is a palette knife painting. I'm not sure if it's acrylic or oil, but she's got a more impressionistic style, and her intention was the grasses. The grasses captured her imagination and she wanted to paint the scene. What is my first impression of your painting? And I think that you have a good balance of warm and cool, right? And the values are good. Let's have a look of your black and white. And let me just say also that I think the way that I'm looking at this painting is a little skewed. Like you see the easel down here and it's diagonal. So the painting is a little blurry, but I think we can work with it. I do see a definite structure of light, medium, and dark in your values. Good start on the values. What else does the black and white reveal? And I think that it reveals that we can add a focal point to this painting very easily. The line of the river is a perfect way to lead a viewer's eye through a painting. So I think that creating a focal point will be an easy thing. Let's look at the composition, and we'll start with contrast. There is a contrast in the painting, right? We mostly have mid values. So I think that we've got hard lines in some areas, but you know what? So much of the painting is soft edges and soft lines. So we'll consider that when we are planning the viewer's eye through the painting. Those soft edges. Now, balance. I think that we've got a 50-50 balance of warm and cool. Let's go back to this one. Yeah, because we've got all of the browns are very warm. And even the greens are leaning a little bit warm. They don't have a lot of blue in them, right? So all of this is warm and all of this is cool. And it's about a 50-50 mix. And you know what? There's an opportunity to make one dominant. And in doing so, make the painting a bit more interesting. So very easy to do because you've already got that 50-50 balance. So we need to add a little bit more of one or the other. Now the emphasis, what is the emphasis? Could it be the texture? I think you really worked hard on the texture because your intention was the grasses. So that was probably top of mind. So we'll look at that as well. And the rhythm of the painting, I think we've sharpened a bit, right? Again, that goes back to this line going through the painting, right? I think that's going to be a big change in the painting when we work on that. All right, let's look at all of our three components of color, right? Because that will help us balance the painting more. And when I say balance, I don't mean equal balance of the painting. But so hue, what is our hues? We already said that there's a 50-50 with warm and cool. So there's a great opportunity for making one or the other dominant, right? So we'll have to figure out which one. The chroma is a mid-chroma, right? We don't have grays, right? We have browns and lower chroma greens. The color of the water is somewhat of a higher chroma. It's probably an ultramarine blue and white, right? So that's higher chroma. not the highest chroma. So there's a great opportunity to put in a few subordinate higher chroma. And we can use that to create that feeling of light going through the painting. We could use that to create the focal point. So this will be a very good thing to add. Your values are mid to lower, right? And I think there's an opportunity here as well to just put a wee bit more of a dark value to really anchor the painting. So we've got a lot of small changes to make in painting. Let's begin with some adjustments. We've got a wild red line in there, so I'm just going to blurt that out. Okay, the light. Let's look at the light. All right, so I see the light. I see the light going through here. It's there. It's there. But you know what? I'm not sure about the grasses. Which grasses are in the light? There's a lot of kind of shadowy grasses. And so I think there's an opportunity to have some grasses in the light that will help. You have good space. You have good middle ground, foreground, and background. Excellent. I don't think we need to change anything there. And some negative painting, refining the shapes. I like your colors here and how there's a gradation from darker to lighter. So let me start with this color, and I'm just going to stick it inside some of the grasses, right? Because you're going to have that. You're going to have the water peeking through these grasses. They're not opaque. They're not one shape. And in doing so, in adding some of these, I think that is a wonderful opportunity to adjust the shape here. Instead of a line, we've got something a little irregular with some of these, the water peeking through. And the grasses aren't going to be like all going straight up and down, right? They're going to be diagonal, some of them. Yeah. Okay, moving on up here. Now, as we get farther away, we're in the middle ground here. So we're not going to see as much detail as we did here. So we want to be aware of that and maybe just a little less use of our odd shapes because it will read more cohesive as we go back here, right? And I love the opportunity to maybe stick out this little bit in there. Maybe even go into here a little bit. And oh, definitely back in here. Okay. And then I like how you went back to the grayer color back here because you're not going to see that so brightly, right? And it's, look how pretty that gray is with the warm browns. Just love it. So we get the feeling of the water that's meandering through the grasses, and the grasses are being infiltrated by the water. You've indicated that a little bit right here, haven't you? Like it. Nice. So do you see this shape? The shape that we made that's now different. It's now has variety in it. Right? It goes here, it goes back here, and back into here. Okay. All right. Next. All right. So that's a good light pattern through there. And where are the light patterns in the grasses? Right. Definitely, I think that a focal point would be where there's the most contrast or where there's the most chroma. So let's go back here and try some yellow. So you can use a very high chroma, like we're doing now, to indicate light, to indicate grasses in the light. Can we add that other places? Let's try. How about we add some light hitting there? We have a few little bits and bobs here, and look what this does. Leads our eye right there, which is what we want. Okay, good. Nice. All right, what else? Oh, we wanted to have just a wee bit of, let's try this dark brown to anchor. Maybe a little there, a little bit here. You have some here already, so let's continue it down into the water. Maybe here a little bit. Yeah. Oh, wow. Gosh, really like that. Maybe back in here a little bit. And you have some lovely darks back there. I really like that. And you know what I really like as well is that this is such a soft edge. There is a differentiation, but it's not the highest contrast. So it works very nicely, right? Gosh, I wouldn't really change a thing back there, I don't think. Okay. What I might do is change the shape a little. So you see how we got a straight line across there? Let's make it a little bit varied, a little up and down to get a little bit more interest in this area. We could even stick some in. Now we don't want a lot because, again, this is in the background. You're not seeing all these nuances, but we're seeing the big kind of shapes, right? And then so maybe we could make some of this go up a little. That red that got in there by mistake is not bad, is it? What if we added a little red to our focal point here? How about a little bit of an orange red? Let's try that. Yeah, kind of like it. Oh, and look, we can put a few little bobs in there and even in the front. Yeah, the sky is so cool, right? Love the sky. I love the texture. I love what's going on. It's got movement. You could even put some blue back in here. You just never know where the river's going to meander and where that water is going to end up. And it all adds just such pretty interest to the painting. So I think we've got an interesting light pattern that is enhanced the rhythm of the painting through the water and through the additional higher chroma bits. We didn't address yet making the warm or the cool dominant. So how can we do that? I feel that the foreground is big. I don't want to reduce this because that I think is beautiful. We could bring this down and make that smaller and reduce that warmth there, but gosh, it's just so pretty. Let's see what would happen if we made more water and changed this shape a little bit. I like that lighter color in there because it feels very sunny. Yeah, that real pure blue. And then down here. So really, here's an issue that I see is that this is your foreground, yet it has the least texture, right? So let's go into here and make some more texture. So it's all about taking out, putting back in, as you see, taking out a bit, put in a bit. We have a lot of green up here. I do like your bits of more yellowy green up here. I think that's kind of cool. It's a nice addition. And you know what? It feels sunny, this green. Maybe if we lighten up a little bit. I'm just going to go right over that area there. We want a nice gradation maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to lose this dark green. I really like that too. So let's have that blend in with that light green. What do you think? Does that work? Got some orange in there. Oh, that's pretty. We can even add some down here. Not a lot, just a little. I like it a lot. Okay, I really hope that you got a few little tips. We didn't change a lot. We changed the values a little, right? So I'll show you what I changed again, just to summarize. I added a little bit more darker value. I added a little bit more higher chroma. I made the shapes a little different. We made sure we got lots of variety, lots of peaky holes in there where that water is peeking through. The play of the grasses over the water and the water peeking through the grass is a really important in a painting like this. We got our dominance switched to mostly cool, I think, by increasing the water. So we've got this huge area up here of cool. We've got this huge area of here. So I think that shifts the balance a little bit of warm and cool. So I hope you've enjoyed the critique, and I've certainly enjoyed looking at your beautiful painting, and I look forward to seeing any finishing touches you do. I hope you'll share them with us.